Time we'll be recording. That's all right. I got my best friend is my camera girl. We talked last week. We talked about situational awareness, knowing where you're at, what you're doing, paying attention to what's going on. We talked about mental preparedness of before, during, and after if you're possibly involved and have to use a weapon for self-defense. So after we talked about those, I mentioned we're going to work on some grip stuff. Well, we're all in quarantine right now, so we're all kind of stuck in our houses, or you're stuck wherever you're stuck and you can't go anywhere. This will give you some practice time. If you can't make it to a range, or you can't go out in your own backyard and shoot, which we all wish we could, or you can't get a hold of ammunition, this is a good training thing you can do while you're at home. I told you before when we first started, I'm not going to argue or complain or get into anything about certain holsters or firearms. This holster will cause a lot of heartache for some people. It doesn't matter for others. This holster's never given me problems. The thing is to keep the booger hook off the bang switch. It's going to work just fine. First thing I'm going to do is show you this firearm. This firearm is a blue gun. It's never been a firearm. It's the safest thing we can train with. It's what I use for all my classes. That way, if I try everything I can never to muzzle somebody. If it happens, I know that this is a safe weapon. And so what we're going to do is use this for a few things. What I want you to do is think about your home. Think about where your weapon's going to be on you, if it's going to be on your hip or appendix carry, small to the back, on your ankle, shoulder holster, whatever you carry, or however you carry it, and you carry a spare magazine with you, put that on. When you put this on, if you have a live firearm, you don't have a blue gun to train with, that's fine. Ensure it's empty with no ammunition around the magazines at all. Have no ammunition anywhere near that weapon and clear it completely. And don't ever muzzle it, or don't do this in front of your kids or anybody else unless they're training with you. You want to explain everything. If a child does come in the room while you're training, you need to sit down with them and explain to them what's going on. Okay, what we're going to do is the first thing is your master grip. All you have to do is practice sitting in your chair, lounging in your recliner, whatever you're doing, practice your master grip. That hand will get on that weapon no matter where it's at. The master grip is your hands be high up as it possibly can on this weapon. It's going to get up as high as you can. These two fingers are your main grip. These two middle fingers. This finger is driving up a little bit further this way as you grip that weapon. The thumb will be out of the way. This leaves a lot of real estate on this side. So when you take your support hand, whichever one it is, the weapon comes out and you marry your support hand into it, the heel of this hand is going to rock right into this place, and you're going to cover all of the real estate you can. A lot of people have a problem with their weapon is they leave this bottom open. And when you're out here shooting, sometimes it'll rock that weapon. You won't have the proper grip. You need to get all of it covered the best you can. Line these thumbs right in there. And when you get this weapon up and you get that side alignment, you rock those elbows out. That's going to cause a vise, which is going to help with the muzzle flip. So you're going to work on your master grip. You get that master grip down. Hands going to come on that weapon no matter where it's at. You're going to defeat your holster. When you defeat the security features on your holster, you're going to draw the weapon. You're in combat mode right now. If you're in a situation and you have to fight with somebody, you may draw this weapon, you can fight right here. So be prepared to be in this position to fight. If you draw your weapon and your hand is in the master grip, you draw your weapon, you've got to fix it. You don't have time for that sometimes. You just got to get that weapon out right now and you're in combat. You're going to marry these hands together. You're going to cover all the real estate you can. You're going to come out, you're going to get that side alignment, rock those elbows, and press the trigger nice and slow. We don't want to get out here and start slapping triggers or anything else. This is training in your house. This is the basics. Some of the old timers are going to look at this and say this is as basic as you can get. It is. But sometimes us old timers need to go back to the basics. So this is a good reminder for some of you, and for some of you it's a new thing. And you can get the practice in while you're at home without having to go to the range. So what you're going to do is you're going to practice that master grip, get that weapon out, marry the hands. And that's all you're going to do. Okay, before we start putting the weapon away too fast, I want to remind you of something. I try to get them all to do this, because every time we go to the range and practice, you're an indoor range or wherever it is, you got all these other people around. What people like to do, they're going to drive the weapon out as quick as they can, put rounds down range, holster up as quick as they can, and look at their target and see what they hit. What we want to do, because this is for life or death, what we want to do, this weapon comes out, and when you pull that trigger, I don't want you to put the weapon away so quick. I want you to take a look around. I want you to look, check your six, be aware of your area. The situational awareness. Make sure you know there's nobody else coming up on you. When you take a suspect down and he's down on the ground or she's down on the ground, you got to check and see if he has any partners with him. Keep your weapon on there. If you want to check deeper, we can bring this back in what we call a safety circle. I bring it back to here. I just point the weapon to the ground. I pivot. I can check around, come right back, and I come right back into position. Don't put the weapon away so quick. So when you're practicing, get that master grip, get the weapon out, press your trigger, check your 6. Then you can bring it back. If you want to go deeper, you can. If you don't, then put your weapon away. Do this at the range every time you're out there shooting. Do this every single time. Okay, we're going to move on to a live weapon. No ammunition. We'll show you what that for sure. All magazines used are completely empty, so there'll be no malfunctions out here. Okay. And this is another Glock. I rack as many times as I can. Lock it back. There's nothing in the mag well, nothing in the chamber. Okay. So what we're going to do is we'll do the same thing. We're going to dry fire. So this time you're going to pull the weapon up. You got that master grip. You bring this thing together. Sight alignment. You're going to press there. You rock them out. And you're going to press that trigger nice and smooth. Okay. You do that every time. And you can just stay out here like this and just keep that front sight and press the trigger. You just keep looking at that front sight, press the trigger. It's going to get you that practice on the trigger where you're not slapping it. So next time you go to the range, you're going to automatically come out here, draw the weapon, you're going to slowly press the trigger. Once you're done pressing the trigger, you check your 6, bring it back, put the weapon away. There's a little game I like to play. It's something you can compete with yourself or somebody else at your house if they're practicing with this. When you bring your weapon out, you rack it, take a coin, any coin you want, put it on your front sight. Take this weapon out nice and smooth, sight alignment, find your target, nice and smooth trigger press. Coin stays where it's at. You add another coin. Each time you do this, you got to reset your trigger. But each time you do this, you'll add a coin. You bring this up, nice and smooth, sight alignment, work on this, press the trigger. I jerked it. Okay, so just try that. If you like this, subscribe. When you do subscribe, I want you to make a comment. Put down there how many coins you were able to stack up on your front sight before you lost the coins. We've got a little visitor here. So what we're going to do at this point is we're going to practice malfunction, or actually we'll start out first with mag exchange. So what we're going to do is we're going to ensure this weapon, the trigger reset on it, have a magazine in, draw your weapon, you're going to come up, you'll fire, drop the mag, grab a new mag, put it in, fire. Just practice mag exchanges. You've got to practice these, so you make sure you put your magazine exactly where you're going to carry it when you're concealed carry. So every time you do this, you're going to pull the weapon out. You're going to have your mag set. You'll pull your weapon out. You'll set it on line. Press that trigger. Drop the mag. Put a new mag in. Press the trigger. It's good practice. It keeps you moving to get you practice getting that mag exchange in case you have a failure. Now, that's going to move into is a failure drill. We're kind of moving along this pretty quick, but it gives you a lot of different ideas while you're at home. You can practice these things. Failures, I like to teach is tap, rack, and roll. As the weapon comes out, you bring it up, you fire, you don't get another click. So you can tap this, reach over and rack it, and roll. That's how you're going to do it in live or on the range. You're going to tap it, make sure the magazine is seated, rock over the top, rack it, and go back into combat. If you have that's a level one malfunction or failure. The next one will be if your weapon is locked to the rear. You know you got to strip the magazine. You got a stovepipe, something happened on here. You got to strip the magazine. Practice this as you do this. You're going to drop the mag. If you can't, you strip the mag, have the other mag coming in, and then you can go. So practice these mag exchanges, practice the trigger press, try that drill with the coins. And the other thing we're going to do is, we'll go back to this for a second. The other thing you can start doing is moving your position while you're getting ready to shoot. You can practice all over your house. What I'll do is I'll just walk down to this corner and I can show you how to clear a corner and how to do it safely, especially if you're by yourself. What we're going to do is, I got a couch sitting here and the wall over there. I'm just going to act like this is a wall. You're going down a hallway, so I can't just walk around the outside on a wide move. But once you draw your weapon, you got this thing out, you're locked in position, you're clearing your house. If you're moving around your house and you're getting ready to clear your house, move slow and easy. While you're moving, keep your feet where they're shoulder width apart, and you're moving nice and easy. You want to always feel while you're moving. You don't know if it's the dark, you don't know if something's going to be laying on the ground. You don't want to trip over stuff. You don't want to trip over your furniture if you step into it. If you're moving nice and smooth with both your feet, just nice and easy, you're going to feel if you hit something at night, you're going to hit this couch, or you're going to hit something on the ground, you can feel around it and keep moving. Now, one thing we got to remember is if we do come up to a corner, we don't want to walk like this past this corner. You don't want to get to this point, because what's going around the corner first? Your firearm's going around the corner first. You don't want that around that corner. You want to come to this point, start bringing that weapon in. You can start moving around. As you get to this point, you can start to bring it out because you're not going to go past the corner. And you're just doing a slow move around this corner, nice and easy. And as you get ready to clear this corner, you've cleared it to that point as far as you can see. You can start moving from there. We're going to really get into this on the range. That was just kind of a sneak preview of some of the stuff we're going to do in my class. We're going to teach you how to clear corners. We're going to teach you how to slice the pie. We'll have targets set up beyond that point where you'll be able to see the target before the target can see you. And it's a pretty good thing once you learn how to do it. All we can talk about now for just a second, get ready to close here. One thing we're going to talk about just for a second is what's going on in this country right now. What we need to do is stop the panic. We need to stop believing things that aren't real. If you want to find out what's really going on, contact your local authorities. Look on any of the websites set up by CDC or the government. They'll tell you what's going on. Don't believe everything you read on the internet. Don't believe things that somebody heard this from somebody else and they mentioned it on this, and somebody talked to somebody who's an authority in this. Don't listen to it. It just causes panic. It causes problems. People start arguing and fighting. Don't hoard things. If your family or friends need things, help each other out. We're in this whole thing together. The entire world is in this together. It's not just our country. It's not just your neighborhood or your small town or big city. The entire country is involved, and the entire world is. So let's all do this together. Get out there and just spread nothing but good news instead of bad news all the time. Let's talk about the good things that's happening, not just the bad. If we do what we need to do to get this thing taken care of, we're going to be back out the range in no time. So if you like what I had to say, just go ahead and go down below and subscribe. See you next week.